question again. I don't know what you're talking about.
On ballot initiatives that have been passed, we have a large number of bills that have pay first on it. The legislature does not control that money. And that is a big problem. It's been growing. And it limits the amount of revenue that you can touch when you're up there. I want to know what you're going to do to try to increase that amount of revenue you have and the amount of influence you have over the revenue that you've got. It's been one of the problems within the state for about the last 6 years, 7 years.
I have no idea.
Oh, good honest answer. Thank you.
I think a good example of that is the after-school project that Schwarzenegger did as kind of to set him up to run for governor, where it sounds good on paper, but it's a pay-first type of clause. And I think there are a lot of things up there that need to be dealt with, and that's one of them. Last October was the 100-year anniversary of the initiative referendum process. I know we all hold Hiram Johnson in high esteem, or at least most of us do. I think he'd be turning over in his grave if he knew just how abused the system is now. So that, a lot of times the minority party in Sacramento, and I'm not just trying to pick on Republicans, but I think the frustration is there and they try to use the ballot initiative to pass legislation. I'd like to see things like PAYGO, which what the federal government did in the 1990s to deal with the deficits that came out of the 1980s. If you're going to propose something, how are you going to pay for it? I think that may contradict some of the stuff we said about film tax credits, but I think we need to have that conversation. If you're going to call for more spending, like they do in the Appropriations Committee, if you introduce legislation that's going to cost the state more than I think $150,000 a year, and if there are any parliamentarians, feel to correct me, it goes to appropriations because they need to determine how it's going to be paid for. And I don't think that we really are giving some of these initiatives its due. I mean, look at high-speed rail. We haven't even talked about that. Originally it was passed under a $9 billion supposed cost of the state, then it went up upwards of $118 billion. Now we're talking about roughly $68 billion, which is kind of far removed from the original language. So we need to have that conversation, and we need to push the legislature to do it. But I don't think you're going to hear that with a lot of other Democrats in the caucus. You may hear it from some of the Republicans, but it's an academic debate at that point.
I'm glad to hear it from you, and you're a Democrat, so definitely that's really important because we can't go on governing by initiatives and then just leaving it up in the air to figure out how it's going to work, because it just doesn't happen that way. And the legislature really has to step up to the plate, each and every one of them, Democrats and Republicans alike, and do the business of the people of the districts. Why go through this kind of ridiculous way of doing things? You're talking about initiatives, and it just doesn't make any sense. How can you legislate that way? Putting it on the ballot and then letting it come through. This high-speed rail is something just out of total control. I mean, I was at a meeting in Sand Canyon for high-speed rail, and the people there were talking about it in this dream world, how wonderful it's going to be. It's going to go 200 miles an hour, it's going to be doing this. And the people there from Sand Canyon were concerned because it's going to be put 500 feet from their school in the front of Sand Canyon, and they're going to maybe take properties. Did they address that to them? No, they didn't address that. They were so busy selling what a wonderful idea it is. And where is it going? Is it even going to stop in Santa Clarita? No, it's not. It's going to go to Palmdale. So, the whole idea of spending billions and billions of dollars and all the disruption that it'll take during the construction stage of that, and this is an initiative passed, I believe, it was the one that was called the Subway to the Sea originally. And now it's, I don't know, the Subway to Modesto or something. Okay.